Hey, how's it going, my coffee friends? Hey guys, my name's Tony, and you're watching Faith and Coffee Bean. Guys, I'm a total coffee geek in every single way, and if you're a coffee geek like me, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Definitely appreciate it. It's the best way to support my channel. Hey guys, I really like budget stuff. A lot of folks kind of review a lot of the high-end gizmos and gadgets and all that cool stuff, and I like to have that every now and then, but I also like to kind of feature things that are very cost-effective and affordable. There's just no other way to say it. So for a long time, I have been jonesing and wanting a grind by weight grinder. And guys, I'm going to tell you, is this that? Let's find out. This is definitely interesting. So this is by MOKKOM, and they're the ones who make the metal version kind of the Chardor style grinder, the 64 millimeter flapper grinder. And y'all, I've been loving that. I swapped burrs on it. Then I ended up taking out, putting the standard burrs back in because I put the burrs, long story, into another grinder. But y'all, this is really cool. This is definitely budget friendly. We're looking at about $150 for this one. There is a version without the digital scale, the Bluetooth scale, that runs about $75 or so. So I'm going to tell you right now, this is competing with a smart grinder. So, you know, as far as like a Breville smart grinder, that's what this is trying to go for. So I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I know that this can do espresso, definitely can, but this is going to be definitely for folks who want to fill that bean hopper, fill it with beans, with their favorite beans, and then just really have favorite beans on demand. There's just no other way to say it. Could you get a bellow and use it for single dosing? Yeah, I'm sure you could, but the majority of folks are going to buy this are going to be buying it for that reason. So I wanted to start off with doing a pour over with you today. Now, before we get to the pour over, I do want to say full disclosure. MOKKOM actually sent this out to me for review. No money's exchanged hands, y'all. This isn't some paid promotion. And guys, I'm going to be very honest with you. I've never done that before. That's not something I do. Anything I say is completely my opinion. They don't have any input on this. So it's really important that you all know that. I always want to share that with you. But I am so grateful to get to try this out. It's really awesome. So here is how this works. This scale does not need to be synced. The moment you turn it on, it syncs with the grinder. So you really can use it for grind by weight. But when I say grind by weight, a lot of times the grind by weight grinders, the ones that cost $500, $1,000, you know, the really high end ones, they're using it via portafilter. So I do want to make this clear. If you put the portafilter attachment, it's not going to take the weight. It's got to use the actual scale. So again, that's kind of the budget way of doing it. What is cool is that, like I said, you don't have to pair it. It just comes automatically paired. You can use the scale with the pour over, and that's what I'm going to do right now. For the pour over here, I'm doing 25 grams, basically 1:16 ratio. 400 is where I'm going to try to shoot for the water. And I am doing this. What's nice is this thing has 31 different settings as far as grind size. So I'm going to try to go right in the middle for pour over. And what's really cool, when you look at the LCD screen, it does give you where to go. So there's not really any guesswork with it. The outside shell is completely plastic. So this isn't a metal construction, but it's a really high grade plastic. And that's kind of why I was clicking on it. I just wanted to feel kind of how durable it is. And it is definitely very durable. Y'all, this is definitely, like I said, kind of focused on pour over. So I am an espresso nerd at heart, but in our house, we do a lot of pour overs. Right next to it, I have my ratio. My son uses that ratio probably 3 or 4 times a day to make a single cup of coffee. And I have a feeling this grinder is probably going to get some love here in this house. Right now, I'm just testing out the actual grind size at 15. I wanted to kind of feel it. What I'm looking for is coarse salt. So I don't really have a certain setting I was trying to go for. Kind of want to see how accurate it was. But this will be something I'm going to let my son use in the ratio. The knob on the right is what you're going to use to adjust your actual grind by weight settings. So there is ounces, there is grams. You can really dial it in. When you do grams, it goes to basically a single and then a point 0.5. So that's what's really cool. So if you want to do, let's say 17.5 or 18.5, you can. So definitely cool. And I'm going to try to shoot for basically about 25, and again, probably about 400 grams of water. So 25 is where I'm looking to go for. And the 15 is really exactly what I was looking for. Basically, as I pinched it here, you could kind of tell that it is more that coarse salt type fill. So that's definitely where I want to be. So I'm going to keep this here right for my pour over. And now it's grabbing my 25 grams and pull in the 25 grams. So this unit uses a standard 38 millimeter steel conical burr. There is anti-static technology. It's basically as feature packed as any other grinder. That's what I like about it. So it's definitely very standard. So that's good. And then I'm going to go ahead and just try this out. All right, guys. Now, I do notice that the scale is working pretty accurate, but I did notice that on this pull here, it's going to end with about 0.6 more. And that tends to be a little bit of what I've been seeing here as I've been using it, is that it does go just a little tiny bit more, which I rather go a little more than not enough. So that's not a bad thing, but it's pretty accurate. All right, my coffee friends, it's time for the pour over. So I recently got this awesome set from Codell, and this is kind of like an enamel V60 style. And in the set, it came with the former for, I don't know if that's the exact term, but the thing, the doodad that makes the filter basically get spread out, and while you're adding the water, it just forms it. But guys, it's really cool. I've been really happy with it. I've been doing quite a few pour overs in the morning with my son on the weekend, and this is a really cool set. If you're looking for a really good quality dripper, this one's really awesome. It has like a cork kind of on the bottom, so I like that because when I put on my decanter, it doesn't get messed up. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the scale for actually doing the pour over, because why not? This is a really good scale. It's very accurate. I love the fact that it's included. I love the fact that they're synced via Bluetooth. But guys, this is pretty cool. I should have probably taken the top off completely, but of course you figure that out as you go around. These big containers to hold the coffee, I think a lot of times folks kind of think like if you were gonna make a lot of coffee and take it somewhere on the go, you can use it. The lid is actually on there pretty tight. You do have to kind of unscrew it a little bit. So yeah, that's definitely a good thing. So that's a plus. And as you can see, the scale works completely fine. The way that it reads it out is very fast. So I definitely think, scale-wise, this is a great scale. I've got to review a lot of different scales. I like the size of it. It's kind of medium. That's the best way to put it. It's medium. It's got a big surface area. And yeah. So if you have a very amazing pour-over recipe, please share that with me in the comments. I tend to be more espresso. I like pour-over. I love a good AeroPress. But if there is a killer recipe you have for pour-overs, please let me know. After making this, I kind of realized I forgot to hit the timer. But basically, my time on this one is about 4 minutes total for this cup of pour-over. So not too bad. I didn't want to have too much of a drawdown time, and it seemed to work pretty well. And like I was mentioning before, if you're planning to use this for pour over or set this, permanently in your kitchen or your office, I actually think this is exactly who this grinder's for. That's really the way to go. I really like its compact design. I like the fact that, it does have the hopper, and the good thing about this hopper is it's not too big. So I do think about, well, I don't want my coffee to get stale, but it's also a good amount where it's kind of right in between. So it's not so giant, but it's just right. It's Goldilocks. So guys, I definitely think this is pretty cool, especially if you're going to be doing the pour over. The next step, of course, every grinder I have, I've always got to test it for espresso. I'm going to be using my Gemini Owl, And guys, just to let you know, it's getting towards the holiday season. I know for a fact that during Black Friday they're going to have a killer deal on this. The Owl is one of my favorite machines, hands down. OPV, the whole system has the heated brew head. I'm a big fan, so let's get to it. All right, my coffee friends. Well, here's the moment of truth. How are we going to do with espresso? So right now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to dial in my actual weight. I'm looking for right around 18 grams or so. And then I got to go ahead and basically get it to the point where the grind setting is perfect for espresso. Now, if you look at the actual dial, I'm going to go and show that to you right now. So the dial itself is pretty easy to understand and easy to read. Um, on the top portion, you do see actually espresso, mocha pot, French press. And as you go ahead and dial it down, you could see a graph. So that's pretty nice. Basically, their espresso range is 5 to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and take it to a 4 because I don't want it to be too fine, but we'll see how this goes. Now, I did have a little bit of user error here, and I actually, the grind by weight, I put on the wrong setting. So I actually pulled a little more espresso than I was hoping to, but that's okay. I figured it out. A lot of times when I do these reviews, guys, it's the first time I'm opening up, and I like to give you first impressions. But yeah, I definitely ground just a little bit too much, but that's okay. We'll get it right later on. So what I'm doing right here is I'm just actually going to take a little bit off the top. And the cool thing is it's a scale. So it's going to tell me right when I'm at the right weight. So I'm looking about 18 grams. So I'm bringing it down to 18 grams here. And believe me, no coffee goes to waste. My son ended up using this even later on. So completely fine. I'm okay with that. I just want to make sure I had the right dose. I did want to show y'all what 4 is. So 4, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I already knew that this wasn't going to be the most pretty shot. It did come back a little more coarse than I would like it to be. So again, 1 to 5 is espresso range. This was the top part of the espresso range. So this would be not the recommended, but I did want to show you what the shot looked like. All right, so definitely let's grab the included scale, give it a try. This is the nice thing about this kit. The fact that it includes the scale is pretty cool. Now let's take a look at this shot. I wasn't too happy with it. Let's just say it really is a gusher. There's almost zero crema. It's way too coarse. And again, this is a 4. I went ahead and give it a little bit of a taste because you got to taste it, and it was okay. Uh, okay in a bad way. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, 4 is, in my opinion, not going to be great for espresso. The beans I'm using are Colombian. They are Amazon fresh. They're not anything super special. But when I do this, I also kind of want to get very basic coffee. This isn't, I've got to think about, you know, the basics. And yeah, I just wasn't happy with it. So I wouldn't recommend personally using it out of 4. You definitely got to go finer. So with doing that, my coffee friends, pretty much I'm going to take this thing all the way down to the lowest setting I can, which would be a 1. So we're going to go from a 4 to a 1, and there is not a finer setting after that. So let's go ahead and see how that looks. All right, y'all. So I was actually able to figure out the setting the right way. So now we can truly test out what it is to do the grind by weight. Now, I'm going to tell you guys this, and like I said before, the one thing I have been finding is that it tends to be like a quarter of a gram over or half a gram. So I can already tell you this is not the most exact thing. Again, this is a budget setup. Now, is it true grind by weight? Personally, I would say yes, because that's what you're doing. But where it really comes down to is, it's not doing it from the portafilter. It's doing it with your actual, like basically dosing cup or the canister that they provide. Now, what I would definitely say is that if that's what you're looking for, spend the big bucks, go for the big expensive one, but if you're trying to be on a budget and just want to have that extra feature, this definitely is not a bad way to go. 100%. I wanted to go ahead and just put some fresh beans in here, and pull a good shot. My my son was actually asking for some coffee, so I'm reserving some coffee on the side for him. But yeah, definitely really interesting experience as far as now I'm bringing it down to one, and we'll see how this one does. All right, now that I got my grounds, I want to go ahead and test them out. And consistency wise, this is what I'm looking for. This tends to be where I like to be at. Of course, let's see how the shot looks. But this is what I'm looking for. You want to have a really good consistency. And that's kind of a big thing with any grinder, is just making sure it's going to get you where you need to go. All right, my coffee friends, let's use our iCap all metal portafilter. This thing's a beast. It's a big one. Got to use two hands to get in there. All right, guys, let me go ahead and show you how this turned out. Now, like I said, this is more where I really want it to be. We will see if it's fine enough. That is the question. That is the thing that I'm always trying to figure out. All right, we got our first drops, and it is coming out a little bit faster than what I like. Again, did not hit the timer, but you can see up there on the machine, 38 in about 14 seconds. That's still way too fast. Here's the thing, y'all. I think that with this grinder, if you were gonna do some shims in it and all that, you could probably get it where it's fine enough. But right out of the box, I'm gonna say it. I do think this would be capable of doing espresso. If you are a person that uses pressurized, baskets, and you're looking for that simple setup, okay. But if you are a person who's going to be a single doser, who really wants to have an espresso forward grinder, again, this is a budget grinder, my coffee friends, but I don't know if I'd recommend it for just pure espresso. Pour overs all day, every day. Putting some shims in there, doing some extra work, doing more advanced stuff, you could probably get it where it needs to go. But when it comes to espresso, it gave an okay shot, but definitely way too fast, in my opinion. So yeah, when it comes down to it, will it do espresso? It will. Would I personally recommend it for espresso? I'm going to say no. I definitely think this is more of a pour-over grinder. I love the feature. It's really cool. Will it do grind by weight? Definitely it will, and that's pretty cool. But it's not exactly the same thing that you would get out of one of those high-end machines. They're using a Bluetooth scale to do it. I think it's a really cool option. But yeah, so personally, when it comes to recommending it, I would stick to pour over, personally. I do think it's a pretty cool one. And do I find it unique? 100%. There's two options for this machine. There's one that's about 80 bucks, 75 to 80 bucks. And that's going to be the more budget friendly one. And then there's this one. This one tends to be about 120 with the scale. So if you wanted to have it, to have the extra scale, or to, like I said, for an office, or, just for pour overs, by all means, definitely cool. But if it was just for espresso, I don't know if I'd recommend it just for espresso. All right, y'all. Like I said, the reason why I do these kind of reviews is I like to just not just focus on, high-end stuff. I like to look at budget things of all sorts. If you got great value from this, make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer those questions. And guys, make sure you're following me on Instagram and all that good stuff. I really love it when you guys do that. I love seeing how you set up your gear at home. Guys, I really appreciate you. I can't do this without you. It's been awesome, and I've been just loving a lot of the comments and feedback I've been getting from everybody. And guys, go and make some great coffee. I definitely appreciate you hanging out with me today. Thanks so much for watching.